Hi everybody, I'm Keith Flippin, owner of The Actor's Place, and this is video 2 of our actor education series. And this one is on ethics for actors, work ethic, professional ethic. Many times when people come to the acting profession, fresh out of other things, based on what they've seen, there is an assumption that acting is something you just kind of pull out and do. You just decide you're just going to make it up as you go. And that is the way professionals make it look. But the hidden history of a working professional that can grab a script and get up and go is that they have a lifetime behind them of technique that they've learned and a process, a way of working that was very conscious at first, that over years they internalized, so that now it is something that they can do automatically. But you can't start that way. You have to develop that practice. You have to develop that ethic and internalize it before you can do it. So this is about how to begin that process. There are different arenas of being an actor. There's a professional work ethic that revolves around treating the other people that you work with respect, that they are your collaborators. And this is really important. Acting feels competitive. I mean, think of it. We go into the audition room or we're auditioning online against the word we use, people who look like us maybe, who sound like us, who are auditioning for the same roles. We feel like they are our competition. And that competitive, adversarial relationship with people that are just trying to do the thing we do is the first thing that will get in your way. People that treat the profession like a competition don't go far because it's a collaboration. We learn from each other. We watch one another. We grow because we engage one another as peers, as fellow actors. And that community gives us strength. There was a time when you'd go into an audition room and you'd see the same people over and over and over again. And yeah, sure, you were reading for the same role sometimes, but these people became your friends. And if something was happening up in their neck of the woods, you heard about it through them. And you shared with them things that were happening down here. And as long as this community was the community booking the work and not people from farther away, then it was a win. That community effort, that collaborative process is what gives you professional strength and resilience, because that community will last far longer and be more resilient than we as individuals can ever be. Speaking of support, family, friends, if they're not in the acting profession or in the filmmaking profession or the arts in general, they sometimes don't get it. They don't get what we do. And that can get inside our heads. Now, we got enough people out there in the world telling us that we'll never accomplish this, that it's a pipe dream. That's what these people sometimes might say, family and friends. And if we let it get inside our heads, then we allow ourselves to become the voice that's saying we can't do it. We can't internalize what they're saying. So we have to go to these people if they are questioning our choices to become actors, to pursue acting, and say, look, I know you love me and I love you. And if you truly love me, then I need your support in this thing that I'm trying to do. And if I can't have your support, I need your silence, because that's the only way that I can figure this out for myself. And that is a respectful way to approach someone who loves you and give them a choice. Now, if they choose not to give you either of those, but continue berating you and questioning you, then you might have to reduce your exposure to those people because they will get inside your head. That's part of the ethic of entering the profession. Professionally, we have to treat our agents or managers with respect. We have to pay them on time. We have to communicate with them. When we show up on set, we have to be prepared. You have to have your lines memorized. You have to have done all of your preparation work. We'll talk about that in a second. These are the things that professionals do. We show up early. in fact, rather than showing up on time. There's a saying in the profession, if you're on time, you're late. If you're 15 minutes early, you're on time, because you never know what might get in the way. And if you accept or make a commitment to doing a job, you show up and do it. There are countless examples of agents calling me and saying, hey, this actor said they'd take the job, and now they just haven't shown up. Do you know anybody that can fill this slot, Keith? And I've had to send somebody over, call people and say, can you do it? And try to get somebody to help the agent fill the slot. But I guarantee you that person that never showed up will never, ever get another work opportunity for that agent again, because they did not communicate. They did not fulfill their professional responsibility. I know, hard to imagine someone would do that, but they do. But they do, because they don't understand that it's a profession. It's not a hobby anymore. The moment you are engaging an agent in your work, you're paying that person a commission, and that person only gets paid if you show up to do the job. It's a professional relationship, and we should treat it like that. Everybody on a set is as important as you are. There's a phrase I like to use. You are not the shit. You will never be the shit. And even when you're the shit, you're not the shit. So even when you are a big name, you are really no better than anybody else on a set. And if you maintain that worldview, then you'll keep your head about you. And don't get me wrong. The first time after years of slugging away at this, you book your first major film, you're going to think, hot dog, it's happening. I'm on my way. I've finally made it. The work is going to come pouring in. And every actor that I have taught, for the most part, and myself included, has felt that the first time you achieve that final thing, that first film or network TV show, that you think, finally, I've broken through and now it's up and up and up. Very, very rarely is that the case. But it feels that way. And after so many years of struggle, we should celebrate it, but you're still just the person you were 2 days before you got the job. And you should keep that in mind. Professional work ethic. Craft work ethic. Everybody has a process. We talked about this. And by a process, I mean, the moment you get a script, what do you do with it? What do you do with it? Do you know how to methodically proceed through a script and ferret out all of the useful information in it? Maybe your process is, and these are some of the steps that I go through. I had to jot them down because I didn't realize there were quite so many. These are just some of the steps. The first time you read a script, you read through it for the story alone. Watch it as if it's a film inside your head, right? Because we all watch films, television all the time. We dream them, for goodness sake. So watch it like it's a film inside your head without thinking first about your role. Understand what the story is. Then what your part in the story is. What function do you serve in the larger story? Are you there to give the main character a place to vent? In which case, your most important responsibility often is listening, being there to provide that support. Or are you an antagonist, someone who's there to oppose the lead character's journey and get in the way? Understanding that is core to understanding the function of the character in the film. And then, what is your arc? And by arc, I mean, the story of your character's journey. Where does your character start? Where do you start in the film? And where do you end emotionally? And what changes over the course of that story? Then, I have to go to my list here. What's the worldview? What's the worldview that defines how you see the world in the script? Because that worldview is the key to unlocking everything that your character says and does in a script. And once you have that, everything they say and do becomes not only reasonable, but an inevitability. If I see people around me as a threat to my well-being, then I'm going to treat those people appropriately, and the words that I say and the actions that I undertake in the script just happen. That's just how it works. That's sort of at the core of what character means. We will talk about character in class. Then you might read for the use of language, right? What word choices or rhythm or phrasing or how are the thoughts constructed for the character? Then it's all about creating triggers, so that acting is intellectual in a lot of ways in preparation. But once you get into the scene, you're not thinking your way through the scene. You're intuiting your way through the scene. It's instinctive in execution. So a process. How do you undertake the process of understanding the character physically? How, and this is most important, do you take all of that thought work and prevent it from intruding then into when the camera starts rolling? How do you assure that you are, instead of acting the scene that you've thought in your head, present with the other actor and present in the world of the fictional scene? And you might do that by having an ethic of, of investing in your imagination in your day-to-day life, looking at the world around you by changing your worldview. Maybe you are out at, at a flea market, and you decide for yourself, under a fictional set of circumstances, that you're being spied on. So, as you are moving through the flea market, you start watching other people. And if you notice somebody looking at you, then how does that change what you do? Are they the person that's following you? Are they the person that's keeping track of you? Yeah, it's a little mind game. We be careful with mind games. You just decide that when you leave, you're turning that off. But indulging and engaging the imagination is core to what we do. We have to believe in fictional circumstances. And for very rational people, this can be somewhat difficult. So small indulgences of the imagination here and there are useful, giving yourself permission to not follow the structure of your life if you are engaging your acting brain. All right? And then some of the other choices are about how you spend your free time. We watch a lot of movies. We're on social media, on our phones, on Insta, on X, on Blue Sky, right? And we spend a lot of time there flipping through TikTok, flipping through Reels. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're using up time we could be using to develop our acting mind. And by which I mean, when you watch film or television, start trying to look at them as though you are an actor, with an understanding that every scene is an edit of different framings and angles and even different performances from the same actor that have been put together to create the story that you're watching. If you're watching and you say, oh, look, this person has said something to which the other actor is clearly reacting, but they're choosing not to show us that other actor's reaction. Why? Well, because maybe the character that we're watching, maybe what's more important is how that character is behaving, right? Why and how do performances change from very wide shots to very tight shots? Watching somebody make those transitions, how eyes work, how bodies work, how you can tell what the character's thinking. All of these things are ways actors might watch a performance. It's going to ruin movies for you for a little bit. How the camera moves manipulates us. The lighting manipulates us. The sound, the music manipulates us. Become a student of filmmaking so that when you are watching a film or a television show, you're developing your actor's mind. You also should read. Read books on the craft? Sure. You can only learn so much from a textbook, but read scripts. Read plays. Practice that breakdown of the acting process as you read a script. I mean, you can grab a scene and you can say, okay, if this were my audition copy, what would I do? All of these things are ways to develop or begin to develop your practice, your process, and the craft of being an actor. So this is not a comprehensive list, but it's just a starting place to say that none of us is just making it up on the fly without having already gone through a number of these steps. So that now, rather than having to read through 15 times to get all of that information, because we've internalized a lot of that, we can pick up a script and read through it and pick up 5 or 6 of these things at once. But it doesn't come quickly. It takes practice and it takes time. Give yourself the time. Make the investment in yourself. And that's how you can begin to develop your process and your work ethic and life ethic and artistic ethic as an actor. We'll see you in class.